What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to what could possibly be the last episode of the soccer comic rant. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, Uh, we're going to talk Champions League finals, Inter, who played the dribbling cones, and PSG, who showed up 1000% on time, ready to play, and how they dismantled Inter. And no disrespect to Inter, that's just how good PSG was on Saturday. They were just into it. They were into it, and congrats to the whole organization over there. We'll talk about some trades. Is Ange going to stay? Is he going to go? Man United has made some trades already. Liverpool's trying to make some. I think Lee's team, Southampton, already got a coach. And we'll talk about the Unity Cup. The final was between Nigeria and Jamaica. And, we'll get into all that. Please welcome Lee Hudson, stand-up comic and Southampton fan. What up?
Hey.
You good? You went to one of the games of the Unity Cup, right?
Yeah. I was at Jamaica versus Trinidad and Tobago on Tuesday. It was lively.
It was lively. Was
yeah.
it? I saw the second game, the final between Nigeria and Jamaica, and I feel like both teams, especially Jamaica, played a really good brand of football, end to end, great passing and all that stuff. So, what did you think of the Trinidad Jamaica game?
It was good. Like, the atmosphere was great because obviously it's like the two Caribbean teams in the tournament playing each other. Both of them had a lot of support that came out, so that was cool.
Hearing some, is that sound from
I'm
Niels?
not sure. I don't think it's from me.
We're hearing like a old school 80s video game sound. like that tennis game.
Pac-Man noise.
Yeah. Turn off your sound before you officially join. He looks like he can't even hear us, y'all. For those who
I don't know what's going on here.
Maybe we should type him about his sound. Oh, here we're gonna chat. Text him.
I don't know what this is.
Off until fix it. He's not even saying anything. That's the thing. Mute.
We're having some technical difficulties here.
Yo, mute it, bro. Mute first.
There we go.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Log out and then log back in and see if that works out. Do the basic IT thing they do. And I don't know, it just felt like a phone call from a third world country. The sounds you hear when I call Jamaica. I've heard prison lines that were better than this. I've had collect calls from jails. Never better than this. Can you hear us at all? Can you hear us or acknowledge us? Is he texting? I guess keep talking about Jamaica versus Trinidad, and then we'll see what's up.
It was really fun. There's a lot of fans there. Obviously, there's big communities from both nations in London, and it was cool that there's people from both places, and who were either born there or they've their parents are from there or their grandparents are from there, and they got to come out and show out for their countries in their hometown at the same time, which was quite cool. So there was like a real sort of fun atmosphere with it, but also competitive as well. Like they were desperate to see their teams do well, and that was really cool. And it was such an open game as well. Jamaica played some really good attacking football. Like every time they got the ball, they were trying to sort of get people in behind or get their wingers like 1v1. Casey Palmer, the ex-Chelsea Academy player who plays for Hull City now, he was running the game from midfield. Like he was dropping back and getting it off the back four, and then he was playing it forwards and then joining in with the attacks, taking all the set pieces. He scored the opening goal, a little Panenka penalty. And Jamaica went 2-0 up, and then early in the second half, and then Trinidad pulled it back. They got it back to 2-2. And then Jamaica scored in the 94th minute with another penalty, and the place went crazy. It was it was fun being surrounded by Jamaicans watching a game of football.
It was fun because we won.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been fun if we lost. What is white boy doing here? Blame him. No. We wouldn't have done that.
But yeah, it was really fun. It was a really good game of football to watch. Really entertaining. You know, lots of goals. And then I feel bad for Trinidad because then they got torched by Ghana in the third place game because Ghana lost to Nigeria. And then the final was entertaining as well. The Jamaica Nigeria game 2-2, and then Jamaica unfortunately fell short on the penalties.
Right. Yeah, I watched that one, and it was live on YouTube. I was like, let me click on this, and yeah, it was end to end, very open. Good football, man. McLaren football surprised me. You know, to get like a Caribbean team to use their skill at the precise moments when they need to, and like play like passes at the time that they need to, and to combine it copaesthetically. I was pretty impressed. I feel like I was interested to see what McLaren football would look like, and I want to see more of it. So I'm down. So even though we lost in penalties, you know, Nigeria is a good team. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know, they have more players, I feel like, than Jamaica in elite positions in elite leagues around the Europe. So for us to hang with them like that and then go down one and pull it back, go down two, then pull it back, like immediately too, like not even flinching, like, so what, Nigeria, we back. And then just to you know, to play like that is pretty impressive. So I'm interested to see where McLaren ball is going to go from now on based on these two games. Yeah.
Yeah, like there was a nice structure to the way they played out as well. Like people wanted to get on the ball, and the way they moved the ball through the midfield, and then, like I say, tried to get the wingers in behind, get the forwards in behind. There was a guy who played for Jamaica against Nigeria who like was running the wings, like I think Cephas. Yeah, Cephas. Like he's got assists, I think, for both goals.
Yeah.
And just pure pace, and then like pinpoint crosses. So he was good, but I mean, Jamaica didn't have like.
But that's the thing I'm talking about, like to beat the man and then to cross when you know Jamaicans are known for beating the man and then cutting back and then beating them again and then cutting back until you lose it. You know, it's like they have the ability and the skill, but there's a certain amount of discipline sometimes. So like you have to make the pass. It's the perfect time to make the pass, and to have players like using their skill but then passing the ball at the good times is good coaching, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, like Jamaica were missing some of their like bigger name players, like Leon Bailey wasn't there, and Antonio's injured. But I think Nigeria took like one of the strongest squads to this tournament because like Ndidi was in there, Nathan Teller was in there, Quaase was in there, Dessers, who plays for Rangers, he was up front. Iniacho came off the bench as well. Like they had a strong team.
Yeah. So that's why I'm rating this Jamaican squad. Neil, if you want to jump in, you might have to turn off your mute. You're muted. So you tried to say something earlier, but I don't know if it'll make a sound. let's.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah. And
There
that
we
sound
go.
is
That's
gone.
nice.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Now it's weird. Like I was not able to get the sound going on my laptop, so I have the video camera on the laptop, and I'm using my phone for audio. So
don't brag about how technological you are. We get it.
On the fifth attempt, yeah.
I would not be asking
Yeah.
you for any advice.
So what is this? This is a new tournament that's going to happen every year, the Unity Cup.
That they had it like years ago. They played it at Fulham, I think it was, and it was just Jamaica and Nigeria in like a one-off game, and then it didn't happen for ages. And then they brought it back this summer. So I'm hoping they do, because like I said, I think they priced it slightly too high. Like the stadium wasn't full. But the demand's definitely there, because, like I say, people wanted to come out to it. So it was like London has big communities from all the countries that were involved, and I think it's rare for those countries to be playing in Europe. So it was a really cool opportunity for people who, like I say, are from those particular backgrounds to be able to come out and support their team in London, kind of thing, without having to travel. So hopefully they do it again, because
I would have pulled up if I was still living there. I would have left Shepherd's Bush.
Yeah, I mean
and went right over there.
It was in Brentford. You could have walked.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Because I mean, these diasporas are so huge, right? Like, I think it's high time that they do this.
Yeah, they should get an India team in there.
I mean, if we can ever figure out a way to be good at it, half decent. Well,
I was going to say, because cricket games in this country, when India come to play cricket here, there's a lot of fans.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, cricket's made use of the UK diaspora for a very long time now. So I'm surprised like something that's like this didn't happen, like the Caribbean diaspora or the subcontinent diaspora. Like cricket's almost the default neutral ground for a lot of teams, cricket teams around the world. So I'm surprised like it's taken so long for football to have like a regular thing going.
I think it's like hard with the FIFA calendars, and if you've got like Gold Cup and Nations League, like CONCACAF Nations League and stuff, like there's a requirement for the team to be playing in the CONCACAF region for a lot of the time. So it's rare to get opportunities, I think, to find a gap in the calendar to do something like this.
Yeah.
True. And then I guess a lot of Indian players are not playing in Europe so that they could just slide over.
You say a lot. We've had one in the last 20 years. And he played as the backup goalkeeper for Stabæk in Norway. Played one Europa League game, and that was like the first time an Indian player Indian national was playing in a European competition.
Yeah,
that's big news. He's a millionaire back home because he plays for one of the big teams back home, and they earn a lot of money. That's part of the reason why Indian players don't go abroad, and they get to earn more money playing for the the Premier League equivalent in India than playing in like third division or second division in a lot of these countries, European countries.
Damn. Can you do me a favor? Can you turn your volume up a little bit, Neil? So we could just hear you a little. Turn your phone up a little bit.
I think this is where we at.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. Let's go to Champions League, because that's the first thing that everybody's going to want us to talk about. Anyway, I guess we all watched the game, or the dismembering on Saturday, and
sacrifice.
the human sacrifice. Oh man, I had a feeling PSG was going to win, but not like that. I mean, especially after I compare PSG ability to Barcelona's. So the fact that Inter put up such a good double match versus Barcelona, you're like, all right, this means that this match is going to be evenly matched. And that was just a decoy or a trick, because PSG just made Inter look like they were standing still. From everybody was pressing. Dembele is still pressing the Inter goalkeeper right now. He's just waking up, going, "Is Dembele still on me?" And all he did was just clear the ball back to PSG so that PSG could like restart another attack. The second goal was super impressive because it came off a long throw-in from Inter in the PSG goal area, and I think it was Pacho refused to let that ball go out, and I think it was, who was that play? Was that Barella that was trying to guide it out for Inter? Does Barella play for Inter, or what does he play for? He was trying to guide it out and get a corner, and Pacho's like, "Hell no, you ain't getting no corner." Cleared it up. Caraskelia, whose name, by the way, I pronounce it. You could tell I can't say it. That's pretty not.
Hey, you got it.
That was not bad. That was not a bad butchering. So K got the ball, passed it to Dembele, and then Dembele just showing his football intelligence. That's not even his best side of the pitch. Like, he is 2-footed, but to make that cross field pass to Dewey on a dime, and Dewey, what he did, like a lot of people are trying to blame DeMarco, but DeMarco blocked a piece of it and it just, deflected into the net. And you just knew by the time they got the third one, this one is over. And they got, not only did they get the third, but they got the fourth and the fifth. But just what an amazing display. Like, with everybody playing like they were English as far as intensity and physically, and then everybody being Brazilian at the same time as far as technicality. On PSG, what were your guys' thoughts on this match?
I mean, yeah, that was a comprehensive beating, like one of the most one-sided Champions League finals I think you'll ever see. But yeah, just looking at the stats, like 23 shots, 60% possession, which isn't as much as Barca had against Man United back in the day. But yeah, I mean, the goal for me that really stood out. I mean, there was some other like great stuff going on, but was the third one when there was that free kick in PSG's own half, and Vitinho went and, was it a free kick or just a ball was stationary? And Vitinho went and got it and like popped a little 1-2, and then he went and played the ball to someone else, and then he got it back again. Then he rolled the flick to Dembele to run through.
Yeah.
And then it went across to Doué, who finished at the near post. But just like Vitinho was on one in that game, just wanting the ball, just constantly wanting the ball off everyone.
Out there looking like a musketeer.
Yeah, just literally just buzzing around the pitch, just giving the ball out and getting it back and then giving it out again, just dictating play completely. Like him and Fabian Ruiz in the middle together, just such an impressive display from them. And I think it helps the front three do what they do in terms of getting on the ball and getting at people. Because, yeah, I mean, there's so many players in that PSG team that, if they all clicked, it was going to be a problem, and they did. And Inter aren't a team who should be getting beaten 5-0. Like, they're normally structurally quite sound and quite solid defensively. I know the Barca games were a bit crazy, but they still scored goals in those games and had spirit, kind of thing. So for PSG to do this, it meant that all of their players showed up and all of them put in top performances, which, if they do that with the talent they've got and the pace in the team and the 1v1 ability in the team and the technical ability in the team, like, that's what they're capable of. That's crazy.
What do you think, Neil? And good luck in the Champions League versus this team next season. I'm glad United ain't in Champions League after watching that. I was like, we need to just chill and watch for a little bit, because even for a blowout, most blowouts are boring and you turn them off at a certain point. But this is one of the most entertaining ass whooping / blowouts I've seen that kept me glued to the screen. What are your thoughts, Neil?
Yeah, is my volume okay right now?
Yeah, it's about the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, I think I was thinking about how one-sided it's become. At certain stage in the second half, it became pretty one-sided. Like the players had like almost given up. And then I started thinking, if you think this is one-sided, how one-sided is the Super Cup gonna be? And they got to play Tottenham Hotspur without a manager. Ryan Mason doing his thing.
Hilarious.
So, but no, it was actually I didn't even make any plans to like go watch it. Usually Champions League final, I'm watching it with some place at a bar or like, either with some friends. But I was watching it while doing some work, and it was perfect. Like it didn't need that intensity of being among people and watching it nonstop because I mean, to me, it kind of felt. I know you're saying like it was pretty entertaining too, but I feel like at some point in the second half, I checked out
Yeah,
because there was no hope of Inter coming back.
I was just like watching how beautiful the football was. Like I've watched Man United all season, so any team that plays football the way it's supposed to be played, I need to be reminded. So I was just in tune the whole time.
And it was both sides of the game, right? Like even on the ball, obviously they were like amazing, but even off the ball, and a few things like they don't really show when they're showing like the actual game. But I've seen some clips of how Dembele was pressing, and he looked possessed. He looked like an absolute athlete, and that's not something you've or like you associate Dembele with in the past as off the ball game. Whatever losing Enrique's managed to do with this team is amazing. And it's so symbolic that it had to happen the season after all of these guys left.
Mbappe.
Yeah, maybe.
Just say Mbappe's name, man.
I wonder.
Why are you trying to protect him?
Well, I mean, he's yet to win a Champions League, right? He's like his 7th season in the competition.
Yeah, and it's like even he won the Pichichi, I think, in La Liga, but the team helped him win the Pichichi. Like Vinicius Jr. would like pass tap-ins, give up a tap-in to give him a tap-in to get him on the board, to get the fans on his side, because Vinicius Jr. knows how rough it is. Like Vinicius Jr. scoring suffered. Like they literally like was like, we're gonna make this Mbappe thing work. But for him to like leave a team that he gave up on, as far as like this team will never win or get over the hill. I've tried to help it. And then that team the next year after you leave win, and the team that you went to that won the year before you got there won a bunch of times to not get as far. And I know Real Madrid played Arsenal with basically just one real defender. Like their whole defense was like made up people, so that's why Real Madrid for the first time is going full defender in the transfer window, because it's been overdue. They've gotten away with no defenders and winning stuff for a minute. So Arsenal fans, you won, you beat Real Madrid, but a defenderless Real Madrid.
Yeah. No, it's going to be interesting seeing this PSG team. Hopefully, Enrique stays there and builds something long-lasting. Because I think the thing with PSG is they have all the money, but I feel like sometimes there's managers and the conditions around them. They go through a lot of managers. If things get a little rough, and winning the Champions League was always their holy grail. Now they have got it. So every manager before this was being pegged against that standard. Like if you don't get the Champions League, we kind of have to move on, and we don't think that you're going to get us that. We kind of have to move on from you. But it's going to be interesting how the ownership, board of directors, like how they approach building. It's still like the huge superstars are gone, but it's still a superstar team. It's still a team that's been built with a lot of investment, a lot of big money transfers, some of the probably one of the biggest wage bills in Europe. So they've invested a lot in this team too. I hope like they keep it and get to see where what else they can do.
It's so funny, like you said, it's been a lot of investment. Only it's funny when a team. Last night I went to see Thunderbolts, right? And it's a bunch of people with superpowers, and they do this with the real Avengers, right? And the movie makes you feel sorry for them, and then they eventually overcome this thing, and they win, and you cheer for them. But they make you feel like, oh, this person with all these powers is just like me, and that's PSG. Like they've tried to climb this mountain so long that you forget the amount of money and prestige and world-class players, which they paid for that didn't win it. So that when they do win it, and also the fact that only one team in France, Marseille, which is their rival, has ever won it before, it kind of has made French football look like they're underdogs, even though PSG has been thriving. So them winning this makes you forget, like you just mentioned, like all the money. But in reality, they paid for this. It just took them longer than they thought. I was going to ask a question. I know Lee is quick with the stats. You know how PSG started this new format, right? And would they have got out of the group stage based on their performances if this was the old format Premier League, would they have made it out of the group stage?
It's hard to say because I think it's still the same amount of teams going through, and they scraped it. I think they might have scraped their group. It depends on who they would have had in their group, but they would have been one of the top seeds. So I think they would have been fine either way.
I think they scraped in a 16th position, right? In the
they weren't up there. They were so. Go ahead.
They got rolled aside by Arsenal at the Emirates.
Yeah,
in the league stage.
I think Dembele didn't play that game.
They're 15th. They were 15th, so they would have still made the round of 16 in the whole stage. But obviously, this is a huge group league phase. But just going off sheer standings, they were still among the 16 best teams.
All right. They just peaked at the right time, unfortunately for Inter. Yeah. I guess this is. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to say about the Champions League, but I just wanted to ask, like Lee, what are you looking forward for Southampton next season?
I mean, hopefully winning promotion. It's really hard to predict at the moment because of the level of turnover that's going to take place in terms of players. Whether or not we sell the right ones, whether or not we buy the right ones. So I'm hoping we can challenge for the top two and not have to put me through the playoffs again, because that was a lot for the heart, that one. But I mean, I'm hopeful. Like, I think we can potentially keep hold of one of either Dibbling or Fernandez. If we can keep, like, Fernandez has spoken a lot about next season already.
All right.
And it sounds positive, but also I'm not naive enough to think that if a big enough bid comes in, he'll go. But I think that he's still 20, Dibbling's like 18, 19. They got time on their side. A year in the Championship isn't going to kill their career, and it might aid their development if they're playing every week and working on that. So we just signed a defender as well from Hoffenheim in Germany, who is 20 years old, German defender, 6'5", can sprint quicker than Leroy Sané and Alphonso Davies. He clocked a higher sprint time than any. He got the second highest sprint time in Germany this season when he was playing for. He was on loan at a team called Greuther Fürth. He's got a long throw, but he's like a machine. and I'm hoping he can play football as well, because he's got all these other things going for him. And we brought in a head of recruitment who, or head of scouting, who's from Hoffenheim, and he went, "I'm bringing this guy with me." So I like to think there's we've maybe got a gem there, Joshua Quaase, if you want to remember the name.
All right.
But like I say, yeah, 6'5" and rapid. That's like the recipe for the ultimate centre back, in my opinion. Like someone who can win everything in the air, but also isn't going to get turned for pace. So yeah, he could be a real weapon. And from
you got a championship Van de Ven over there.
Yeah, and from what I understand, Will still wants us to play like high pressing, high energy football, which means that we're going to be open on the counter attacks. If we're trying to play in the opposition half a lot. So
you're going to be playing handball over there.
That's it. Yeah. We're going to need defenders like that. So hopefully that's a good start, and then we'll see where we go with the others. There's rumours Dusan Tadic might come back. He's been at Fenerbahce in Turkey recently, but I mean, he's 36 now, so I don't know how useful he'll be in playing high intensity football, but he clocked decent numbers in the Turkish league still. And, you know, if we've got young players around him, he might be able to do a job still for a season, but I don't know if that one's just sentiment leading to those rumors. But yeah, we got a big summer ahead of us. We need to get it right.
Yeah, I hope you do. I noticed that Neil isn't wearing a Chelsea jersey, but he's drinking a blue drink to represent. like who drinks a blue drink when they're representing Chelsea on a podcast? But now that you stole Liam Delap from us, which I still hope that trade doesn't go through for some reason, I have a feeling that there's still a chance we could get him. What are you hoping for Chelsea this season? And this season, meaning a few days, you're in this tournament. For at least how many games if the worst thing happens?
And I think I looked at the bracket. I think we might end up playing PSG in the round of 16 or the quarterfinals. Like the way the brackets are. So, speaking of PSG, I think we'll have a chance to see how our free boost tomorrow project matches up against the champions of Europe.
I know how your youngsters match up against Maresca's youngsters against Enrique's youngsters.
But like that, the way they've built the PSG team is ideally what I would want our ownership directors to do, because yes, they have a lot of youth, but they have a lot of experience too. Like Dembele's been in the game for like a decade now. Marquinhos, Donnarumma, Hakimi. There's a lot of experience sprinkled through that team. So it's not just sometimes I call the Chelsea team the blind leading the blind. So it's different. Like it's not just an overload of tomorrow's potential stars. So anyway, coming back to the whole, what Chelsea's going to do with the Delap. Yeah, looks like he's coming to Chelsea, but looks like we're also getting this Frankfurt striker, Hugo Ekitike.
I thought who
he and Marouche who went to Man City. They were like forming a good partnership up front, and he's super tall. He doesn't have a whole ton of goals. He's got like a decent size 14 goals this season. French player. Again, one of those, potential, potential profiles. So, and I think I really wanted us to like get a proper, solid, established number 9 and use Jackson as a backup. But with all the things that are going around, I feel like we're gonna get 2 new strikers and gonna sell Jackson off to you guys.
I'll take him.
There's a rumor of Jackson to Manchester United, yeah.
I'll take him.
We'll see. I feel like there's going to be a big striker merry-go-round happening. And once the first one gets announced, a lot of dominoes are going to fall.
How much did you pay for Jackson?
30 million, I think.
30 mil?
Yeah. something
All
like
right.
that.
So I need to keep that number in mind so that when y'all try to throw some outrageous price at us, I can call the front office at Man United and be like, yo, they trying to take us.
It's a big.
And you
Yeah.
guys are going to keep Sancho, it looks like?
I doubt it because there's already. So if you look at the wingers, right? There's Madueke, there's Neto, there's Willian who's coming in, and
Is he a right
wait,
winger?
there's one more. Yeah, he's a right winger, but like, wait, we have one more. Who am I forgetting? Well, let's forget about Mudryk. He's gone. But this one more. Oh, Tyreek George. Even if he goes on loan, actually there is. I'm sure there's another winger I'm forgetting. Let me just look it up. And there's rumors that you're going to buy somebody. So I don't think Sancho's going to be interested in being the fifth winger. So, I mean, I like Sancho as like a backup squad option, but I feel like we already going to have four wingers. We're linked to a lot of left wingers. So if we already have four, and then we have Tyreek George, who's probably going to go out on loan and for the future, yeah, I don't really see a space for somebody like Sancho.
Do you like Maresca? I don't kind of really like Maresca, and I kind of get the feeling that a lot of Chelsea fans, or a decent amount of them, are not feeling Maresca. And I have my reasons why, but can you confirm any of my suspicions?
So I mean, I've got like mixed feelings about him. He, at one point of the season, felt like he was. We can only judge by what we are seeing in front of us, right? Style of play seemed very going through like different patches, which I don't really mind. You have to win different style of games when you want to last an entire season. So, yeah, maybe that was just him showing his versatility. But I like the fact that he finally started speaking, like a serious manager in a bunch of interviews, questioning the fact that we don't have any like, we need to. This is not the Chelsea of old. Like, you can't judge it by the standards of the Chelsea of old. So, mentioning the fact that we do need more experience in the team. So, in terms of style of play, I'm prepared to give him more time. And the club actually has made it very clear that we are going to be a very transactional club for the near future. So yeah, he pretty much outdid what he was asked to do this season. So, give him another chance.
I feel like I did, but I feel like I don't like him. And it's even though Chelsea are the ops, like I normally like your coaches, but this guy, just after the day after Enzo Fernandez, like does a racial chant, is like, hey, you're my captain. And just other things he said, like, I'm like, eh. And then the way he almost is trying to, and I know Reece James being injured, but he's been trying to make Enzo the captain. And just even the way he started that final, it's like, hey, this ain't the time to play around. Like, start your starters, put your real captain on. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Now you're proving yourself wrong and even making it more evident that Reece should be the captain from the beginning.
He kind of said that he kind of said in the post match that, speaking to Joe Cole, and he said that, believe me, if I could, I'd start Reece every game, but we have to manage his minutes. He just played a high pressure game 3 days back, which is probably more important for us as a club. So he's kind of gone down that route of saying that Reece isn't ready to start every game right now. So
all right, I'm prepared to give him.
Let's see. I feel like this
still don't like him.
Maresca needs.
Well, I have a feeling you don't like him either.
Maresca, I feel like. No, I'm like neutral towards Maresca because I feel like unless we get serious as a club, we get serious in recruitment, there's no point judging any manager that comes.
No, I wouldn't fire him or anything. I think he.
Yeah.
I like the season that he had, and I was watching something today, which you guys had the toughest last 5 to 6 games down the stretch.
Yeah.
And you won 5 out of the 6. You came through, you delivered, and that was not an easy job to get to qualify for Champions League. Plus, you won the final, but I just don't like him. How about that?
That's fair.
That's it's just the way he comes across, his vibes. Not feeling those vibes. Speaking of vibes and not liking how you come across, we got Alex here. What's up, fam? How you doing, Man City?
How are you?
How do you feel about Man City and how the way they crashed out of every?
We're talking about Enzo Maresca. Why do you want to talk about City? Like, don't you?
I mean, he's linked to City, and that was for Neil to answer. And now, like, how do you feel the way your season ended?
Maresca,
and let me hear if you have any optimism for Man City's future.
First, Enzo Maresca, it's bad as coach. I think he just needs time. At the EDS, like elite development team that City had, he won back to back, and he the players just they improved, which I think that's well, I guess all young players improve, right? But they adapted to play like the style Pep wanted. I think he's a better coach than Arteta. Like, if I'm being completely honest. And Leicester, it took him some time, but he did exactly what he wanted to do at City, and he did it with Leicester, which I think that shows that I don't know if it's gonna sound bad. I don't know if Guardiola can do what he did in the Championship, and that guy did that, because he was the same style.
You guys are wild.
I'm not. It's like
you guys are wild.
I respect the guy.
So you don't know if the guy who won the treble at Barca, the guy that won 4 Bundesliga titles, and how many, I lost count, of Premier League titles, you don't know if he could do that?
I really don't. I think
he do it on a cold Wednesday night.
He doesn't have to prove it either.
On a cold Wednesday night?
I'm sorry, Neil, go ahead.
Can he do it on a cold Wednesday night at Stoke?
Yeah, see, I don't think we're never gonna find out, because he's never gonna do it. But it's one of those hypotheticals that Enzo did it. Enzo did it in the EDS. He did it in Championship, and now we'll see if he can actually manage to do Champions League as well as the league and provide results. I think he's a good coach. I used to watch those games, to watch the Lap and McAtee and Palmer and stuff, and now he has all those guys on the team. So
listen, I don't disagree with you. I just don't like him. Like, I've already gave him his props. I don't know when you came in.
I just came when you were asking him. The Chelsea fans don't like me. I'm like, what is Chelsea fans?
But I feel like some of them don't.
And thanks, Alex, for scouting, for looking out for almost our future entire team now. Because that entire Man City Academy bunch. And today I saw links of us being linked to Morgan Rogers. So that's going to be another one of them if we get him after, the Lap, Tosin, Palmer, who else? Lavia.
Yeah.
Where would you fit Morgan Rogers?
Right?
I mean, Sancho, even though Sancho wasn't really part of his class, he saw Sancho at City.
Yeah.
So speaking of what's up with you guys? Like, what are you looking forward to, Man City wise, this upcoming season?
Well, the season starts for us I think in 7 days. I think that's when our
names.
Wait,
you live in California. There's games in California.
It's cutting. I don't know if it's cutting up for me or
World Club games.
No. Yeah, I don't have a.
Are you going to any of the?
I'm trying to go to one some of the games in LA, but just haven't got a chance to get tickets to that and stuff. But that'd be cool. Are you going to one?
Or what are you waiting for after the tournament?
No, I just trying to figure out I'll tell you. I don't want to see like this is and I just been taking L's. I've been taking L's nonstop from City, but America. I don't know if you guys watched America against LAFC or found out when that happened stuff. The idea was America was gonna beat LAFC and it didn't happen. So now, like that's ruined the plans. The vacation plans with the family.
The vacation plans with the family.
Yeah, my dad thought it was basically already done. It was a done deal. Like he's like, oh, it's a done deal. America will play Chelsea, and maybe we can go to America against Flamengo or something. And I was just like, hey, I don't think it's like the way you're saying it. It's not gonna be a walk in the park. But my dad's just like, no, this game is rigged. Like it's this game, America is gonna advance. It's rigged. There's no really point to it. And then the PK happened. And then my dad, see, I told you, and I was like, oh, you were right. But then it wasn't Rick after all, So for guy, I have to get him like 3 more micheladas at the bar.
And Neil, are you going to any games?
No, because all of Chelsea's games are on the East Coast.
All
well,
right.
if they advance, don't they come back to the West Coast? Neil?
Was that?
I think if they advance, right? Like after they advance, they come back to the West Coast. I think Chelsea, if they win their group, they can come back.
Well, I was looking at the bracket. It seemed all like East Coast, Atlanta, and then obviously the playoffs, like the semifinals, finals are again in New Jersey, right? So I don't know, unless I missed something. Yeah.
And
again, like I think I'm trying to figure out like how serious is this tournament. Like I really don't know. I don't want to go pay over expensive tickets for a pre-season. I've done that many times. I've never enjoyed the experience. I don't want to pay like $400.
The tickets are cheap now, right?
No, they're not.
They're not. I thought they weren't selling, so they were cheap. So I was waiting for like the last minute to get some cheap tickets.
I didn't want to watch the group stage games because I feel like at least from the knockouts it's going to start meaning something. So I was trying to figure out which, based on the bracket for the knockout games, and they all were like above $300, $400, which I'm fine paying if the.
You sure you're looking at the right place? Like those weren't like sell-on tickets or these tickets?
I was looking at Ticketmaster. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's just Ticketmaster is a little stupid because the tickets got sold out. I'll tell you about the game against. I was looking at going to the Juventus Man City because I have a friend in Florida, and when the tickets come out, they were like $80. But like right now, like the sale, people are selling them for like $300.
Shit.
No one's paying that, So I think like the day of, the week of, probably gonna drop to I don't know 80, 100 probably. But currently, I mean, there's some seats for like $80 and stuff, but that's I don't really. I wanna be close to Pep. I wanna be screaming at Pep.
Oh, you want to give Pep some advice? Yeah. Some Maresca advice.
Also, like just looking at the fixtures, there's some games that there'll be good games of football, but I just don't think they'll draw much of a crowd there.
Give me some examples.
Like Botafogo versus Seattle Sounders.
I agree with you. Go ahead.
Or Flamengo versus Esperance Tunis from Tunisia.
No, I think like Brazilian games are gonna be good attendance.
I still don't think they'll sell fully. What about Ulsan versus Mamelodi Sundowns?
Yeah, no,
so that's South Korean.
I already got
my
ticket for that, so I don't know what you're talking about.
So there's some of these like Pachuca, it's Mexican, so they'll sell. But yeah, some of these games just like that's how I feel they'll be viewed. Like I would watch them if I was there because I will watch any
football.
I know you. But some of these ones I just don't. If they're priced high, I don't think they'll sell in the US.
I'm gonna go to some of those games. I'm gonna pull a Lee and go to some of those games. 100%. So let me just ask you this question. I asked all the guys this question. Alex, what are you looking forward to this season, which for you starts in a few days and after that? Since y'all crashed out of everything and a bunch of losers, and you barely came second.
No, it's
And Liverpool is buying players in every
I've been
essential
meaning
position.
to call you and be like, how do you do it? How do you do it season after season? Like you don't win anything and you're still rocking the United
I
shirt
don't know
proudly,
because we won.
Yeah, you won a
We've
trophy
been to
last
5
season.
finals in
Well, you
the
won
last
something
5
this year?
years. Nah, but this is the first year. But we both didn't win anything. So
I know that's
we
what
beat
I
you
wanted.
last year.
That's what I
So
wanted.
what are you? So what are you
You need
talking
advice.
about?
I wanted
Man, your
advice from you.
memory,
Like, how do
your
you do
memory's
it?
short.
But
How do we beat you in the FA Cup final? Is that what you're asking me?
that's true. I forgot that you beat us on the champion.
I
Man,
didn't.
back to back L's, and that's not good. What am I looking forward to?
Yeah, how do you
season?
do it, losing 2 FA Cups in a row?
I don't know. I see, like this is. I'm gonna help. Do you see when Pep was scratching
You're
his head,
asking
like
me a
during the
question.
games?
You should be answering to me.
All right,
Wait,
this season, what's? I think like it's just the pro. I watch every year. Every year there's like the chairman from City does like an interview. Like he does like at the beginning of the season. It's like a pretty nice interview. People get he gets to talk for like an hour and he explains the season. And I'm happy he acknowledged that there was some problems with our squad at the beginning of the season, and maybe we should have gone more aggressive in the past transfer market. And I think like that's what we're doing right now. I think we're linked to every player that we're going after. Ryan Cherky and Nuri, the guy from Wolves. I love those guys. I don't know much about center mid from AC Milan. I don't know. I seen him play with the Netherlands, but I
Finders,
never. Yeah,
pure class.
Yeah,
Your
I
club?
watched him. I watched him live a few weeks ago in the Milan derby, and he scored a goal and he ran the midfield.
Pure
Well,
class.
what I've been reading is he's like another Gundogan. He's like a Gundogan replacement, like prime Gundogan. So that's that. I mean, Gundogan was a great player for City, and I mean we haven't had a letback I think for 6 years, 7 years at City. So Nuri, I mean, man, I'm so excited for that, and yeah, I think it's exciting because we have a lot of players. It's just now Pep is complaining that we have too many players. So I'm like, man, what are you doing? Why are you complaining about having too many players? So
I mean, that means who do you think he's pointing the finger at when he says that? You know,
that we have too many players.
he said when he says we have too many players, he knows who he's talking about specifically. Who do you think he's?
Jack Grealish.
Yeah, no. So I think his days are definitely counted. I don't know about. The things like you're gonna. I feel like as a fan sometimes I get nostalgic because I don't want John Stones. He's being great, but he's
Wait a minute. He's still a Man City player.
exactly. See, like that's the problem. Like it's probably time for him to be like the same with Gundogan, Bernardo Silva. It's also time, but it's just like those guys were like amazing. So I think we're kind of like there was a period in United that you guys kept players for a little bit too long. I think that's kind of what's like it's somewhat happening to us, and I think it's time to cut ties, and especially if we let go of De Bruyne. So if we were ruthless to De Bruyne, we should be ruthless to every one of them and just let them go.
You think it's time to sell Haaland?
He's signed a contract in
Never shows up
2030.
in the big games.
Hilarious.
That's the thing. Like
This is
people
not
are
a
saying
team
Haaland.
that
People are
can
saying
lose.
Haaland had a bad season and he scored 20 plus, almost 30 goals this year.
21
So,
goals. 21 goals in the league, but I don't know what about these.
over 30 goals and he had a bad season. So
that is a bad season for Haaland.
but those are the standards. Like it's
But
a
like
bad
he's got
season.
10 of them in the first 5 games or something.
Yeah. And he was injured. He was out for a minute. And then you can tell he's lost confidence. By the way, he gave up that penalty in the FA Cup final. Like that's somebody who's not at full confidence. That was not that 5 or 10 goal confidence at the beginning of the season.
I don't know but if he did that, I was like, man, why are you doing this, man? If we miss this, that's on Haaland, and that's on Haaland.
Yeah. So what are your hopes to do in the transfer window? I don't think you answered the question. You just said you just agreed with your chairman, who's probably responsible for your 115 charges, and but and you're not going to CNA.
We're gonna win the league. We're gonna win the league.
All right, it's fair enough for you to wish that.
Champions League. It's hard to tell. I think like that Champions League. It's very. I think like it's very random. You can get a good draw. You can get good games. You can get a nice bracket, and all of a sudden you're in the final. Or you can, or it could be something like in the case of what's happened to City and Liverpool past years. You face Madrid, you face like PSG when they're playing really well, and you're done. You know.
All right. As far as Grealish, right? I think I mentioned this before, like because I spoke to Lloyd when Grealish was at Villa, he wasn't a forward; he was a midfielder, right? And in the seasons that he did good at City, he not only played a forward, but he was really good defensively. There's specific games where he was the one tracking back and saving literally goals. Why doesn't Pep? He moves Bernardo Silva around a lot. Why doesn't he just drop Grealish back a little bit and let him play midfield on the left side and play Doku still? And I feel like there's still a player there. What do you know or have you heard is the reason why Pep is off Grealish now? Like what's not out there what'd you hear?
I think like it's just inconsistency. I think like it's just he gives you one good game, and the next game he doesn't. Like it's similar to what's happening with Foden and Grealish and I think like a lot of our players actually, but I think specifically I think like if we're thinking of like names like that, I think Foden and Grealish have just been you get some good flashes and the next game they're not really like doing it. But it's also kind of happened to De Bruyne, and so I think like it's just
that's how your whole team was this year. After like the beginning,
everybody has been underperforming, and I think where it gets kind of like frustrating when you're watching when you were watching a Man City game, like Grealish has a ball and you're like, okay, do something differently, and he passes the ball back because he's probably like low confidence or not trying to do playing it safe, and then you're like, okay, man, like you're 60 minutes. We need to do something. We need a goal, and you keep playing the ball back, and then you put Doku on the field, which it's not that I don't know how I feel about Doku. I think he's great, but still a lot of room to improvement. The same with Sabinho, but those guys are taking players. So they're trying to create something differently instead of Grealish. You have him, you play him, and he plays the ball back. And if Foden and De Bruyne are not having a good day, Gundogan, nothing's happening in the field. So I think that's the problem with Grealish. The team has just been underperforming, and Grealish is not trying to be the player who used to be Avila, who was like, hey, we're gonna win this game. Give me the ball. I'll do something differently. I think he's just playing it too safe.
I just want you guys, while you're buying out there, just remember you have an Oscar Bob when he comes back from injury. Like save a spot for that dude because he's a real deal. I'll just say what I'm looking forward for Man United. What I'm looking forward for Man United, we started doing already. We nailed down Cunha. You know what I mean? So that's really positive for a guy that knows we lost to Tottenham to want to come to us regardless from Wolves. And he tortured us all season, so he owes us one. But also today and before the podcast, Mbouma, who's like been wanted by Newcastle. Arsenal is kind of denying that they want him. You know, some of the Arsenal fans, I saw an Arsenal fan that I follow, like said, we didn't want him, but he's said, I want to go to United, which is great. We want players that want to come to us that ain't like they have to have Champions League, and that's 30-something goals.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like we just added to the squad. I want this Mbouma thing to completely go through before I go crazy. But if that happens, because we've just been giving away goals. Like we bought Sancho for goals, loaned him out. We bought the Brazilian dude for goals, loaned him out. Rashford, we loaned him out. And we just didn't replace these people. And we got rid of Martial, and we got rid of Ronaldo, Cavani. There's just so many goals we got rid of over the last few years and just have not. replaced it. We got rid of Ilanga goals. We got rid of the MVP of the Italian league. Like within 2 seasons, we just gave away so many goals. So it's great to get 30-something goals back, and just at the beginning of the transfer window, and we'll see what else we can get.
I like this. I like this strategy of signing players who are like proven in the Premier League.
Yes.
Because it feels like a departure from the previous strategy, which was, let's take a chance on a Haaland, let's take a chance on a Xerxes, let's take a chance on an Anthony, and hope that they can acclimatise quickly. Whereas like Cunha, he does a job in the Premier League, and Mbouma, he does a job in the Premier League.
We know Cunha plays good at Old Trafford.
Yeah,
And
I'm seeing you linked with Mateta, and with Mitrovic as like centre forward options as well. So it's like
Mateta.
Guys who score goals in the Premier League, though. Even Mitrovic, he's gone out to Saudi Arabia, but he's only 30. He can come give you a couple of good seasons as a rotation option. But he can score goals in the Premier League. We know that. So yeah, it feels like a departure from this sort of hopeful strategy that you had going on before. And that's not to say that buying players from outside is a bad thing, but I think the level of risk with these guys is less.
Right. They take time to acclimate. Even if they are going to work, they take time to acclimate. The fans get pissed when they don't acclimate right away, then jump on them, and then they have to calm down and deal with that, and then become the player they're going to become. So if you're in the league, like I played here before, this is the Premier. I know what it is. Boom, boom, boom. I can deal with the physicality of this league. So I agree with this strategy too. Like instant goals, like no type of like acclimation needed. Just inject them, insert, and play.
I think Mbouma is perfect for that inside number 10 role that Amorim has with the 2 10s behind a striker.
I'm kind of confused. Like, which side is he on, left or right? Which one?
He'll be on the right, probably
right.
cutting inside on that left foot. But he can play either or.
Right.
But I think he'll be best used as like the right-sided attacking mid behind the striker. They have a wing back flying on the outside.
That's Ahmad.
He can operate sort of in those little spaces and do what he does, which is create and score goals.
Yeah, like pace, energy, industry.
Lee, since you're talking about United links, and I don't know if you guys seen that Tyler Diblin. It's been also linked to United, Tottenham, and Liverpool. I don't know if
he's been linked with every team in the Premier League.
He's a whore fam. He's just out there. His agent just got his name out there, like a walking.
So you think he's staying in Southampton, or you think he'll be sold to one of the big teams?
I feel like he'll go. I feel like he would benefit from staying for another season. I don't think if he goes, I hope he goes somewhere where he's going to play. So I hope he goes to actually to a slightly smaller club who in the Premier League who will be like, we'll play him every week kind of thing, because that's what he needs. He doesn't need to be sort of a cup game substitute appearance player. Like he needs to be playing games. If not, like I think a season for us as a main guy in the Championship will benefit his development. But yeah, if he goes, I just hope he makes the right move and not the move his agent maybe gets paid the most out of, because I feel like he's at a crucial stage in his career where he needs to make the right decision, and the wrong one could hold him back. But I mean, it'll make him a lot of money, but I don't think it will necessarily.
How much y'all still want from him?
There's talk now. It's going to be probably around 40 to 50.
It went down because that shit was like at 100. Remember we was talking about that mid-season?
Yeah.
Because if you can get an Mbouma for 50, we ain't paying no 100 million for no Diblin, right?
Well, I keep seeing
90
you
for an Anthony.
Him, so I wouldn't be surprised if you guys get him.
We did. You're right. Shit.
And with Dibbling as well, you're paying for like the time that he could play for you for, because he's 19. So it's about that as well. So
what were you saying, Alex?
Just because.
No, go ahead, and then Alex, go ahead.
Nah, I was saying, like, I have a feeling Dibbling's going to stay just because Southampton's going to ask for more money. And at some point, like, if it reaches 70, 80 million, I feel like clubs are going to, like, at least hold off for a bit.
And what were you gonna say, Alex?
No, I saw that. I keep seeing you guys linked to him. Like just I think Fabrizio even said. I don't think he specifically said United, but just said that he's been linked to several teams.
That was a while ago. I haven't heard us like since talk towards the end of the season, and now I haven't heard anything.
Tottenham's the biggest link right now.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens with that. But I mean, yeah, they could kill his career quite easily.
Speaking of Tottenham, do you guys think Tottenham should keep Ange?
Yeah, okay, go.
He's fun. He's fun to watch. I like watching that. I watch Tottenham just because I know they're either score 4 goals or they'll get scored 4 goals. It's entertaining. So as a neutral, keep him.
Who else?
I mean, he won a trophy, yes, but a trophy where he didn't have to beat world-class teams.
Whoa. He faced us in the final, bro.
A trophy where he didn't have to beat world-class teams to get there.
You know what?
Like the league's the bread and butter, and losing 22 games is disgraceful. For a club of Tottenham's size and spend, is disgraceful.
First team to lose that many games and not get relegated.
Yeah, I think he's got to go for that alone. And like the whole we're focusing on the Europa League is, I mean, I said it last week. That doesn't wash with me, because it's like you're meant to be an elite level team. You should be able to cope with more than one competition. You should be able to take care of your bread and butter, which is the league.
An outright lie.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not even that the logic doesn't make sense. It's also an outright lie, because what real concentration and focus did you put on the league? It's not like put on Europa League. It's not like your performance dramatically improved. You beat a team 1 position above you in the league, and eventually you finished around about the same number of points, and you won that final by a ball somehow bundling itself over the goal line. Okay, so it's not like you were PSG versus Inter. You didn't like.
That was the plan, Neil. That they drew that bungle up. Like they were like, Man United will never be able to deal with this bungling ball. So,
yeah, I'm just trying to make it like, we're okay being one of the worst teams in the league, just so we can focus really hard and play like prime Barcelona in the Europa League. That's not what happened. Okay, you guys they're playing some really bad football even in the Europa League. As Lee said, this is a much different format of the Europa League, with no Champions League teams falling back in, and their path was fairly easy, and they faced the one team in the league which is probably even low in confidence than them. So it's so hilarious that if United would have won, Amorim would have probably said the same thing. Hey, you know what? It's all excuse because we're focusing so much on the Europa League. But the reality is, both these teams have gone through a very, very bad league season, and there's no hiding from that. And at least Amorim has the excuse of having, coming into the club in the middle of the season, having players that he had absolutely no choice in picking. This is Rant's team, and he's in the second season.
Yeah, and I think in Amorim's defense, like, he's playing a system that needs legs, and he came into a team that we weren't known for legs for, like, even before when you watch the 10 Hag games, even the ones we won, and you saw the ex-players just yelling, like, where is the industry? Where is the energy? Where's the effort? Like the basic in English football. And Amorim comes with a 3-4-3, which demands exactly that, and joins a team that already was void of that, and then try to make them become that, which he has to a certain extent, because our XG improved, but also you need finishers. And Garnacho's young and a hard head and a terrible decision maker. And we might get rid. You know, if we get Mbouma, normally I wouldn't want to give away a young player like that. But even we just did that tour that Spurs did last year, a version of it, and he was there, and he was like, he did something at the end of the tour to again be like, we got to get rid of this kid. Yeah. So, man, I would love. There's a thing going around where Napoli wants him, and they have Osimhen, and Osimhen don't want to be with them. And if we can have a hostage exchange with some cash involved, if we could just end up with Osimhen, I feel like if you're going to pay, I know it's going to butt heads with our salary, but if you can get an Osimhen for like almost a trade and some extra money, and Osimhen is not that old. He's like 26. I feel like this shit is worth it. And if we want to get right back in the Champions League race, that's the move. And we already got Cunha over there. And we don't use it. We have Dogru over there, so we don't need, and then we just need some backup guys. But I would definitely, get rid of, sorry, Garnacho, man, but you just don't get it, bro. You and your brother don't get it. Get rid of two problems in one.
How much are you guys selling Garnacho for?
Man, I'll take 50 for him. I'll take 50 for him. I think he'll be worth it in the future. But if we have Mbouma, like if we get 20 goals for a kid that scored maybe 5 and was a headache and has potential, or Cunha, who's a decent age, like by the time Garnacho becomes what we think he's gonna be, like we'll be way past that. Like Lee said, I like what United is doing. So it's like we won't be like watching. It's a funny season. Like everyone we got rid of did good, but we did good in a sense if you count the Europa League. Like we just didn't win it, but like Sancho won a final, but we were in a final. Like Matamati won the league, but we still almost got it. We just one bungling goal from getting into Europe and being like, and having a trophy and be like, oh, we don't miss McTominay. Like, and you could, Anthony almost won, a title. Like if he'd have won, it's just like last year when Sancho went to the Champions League final, but we beat you guys in the FA Cup final. Like if he'd have won, we'd have, like if Villa had progressed in the Champions League, and gotten far, like at least we still would have had, we were just right there. So it's I like to take the whole thing into perspective. But yeah, if we can get Mbouma across the line, I have no problem saying goodbye to Sancho. Because Mbeumo's experienced and he's only 25. Works harder, scores more, and put him in a better team. Shit. I would never miss.
Is there like a player that you like, do you guys are linked right now that you really want, like, or like a player, someone that you actually wanted to happen?
The
Lap?
Yeah, man, but fuck it.
But he's going to Chelsea, right?
I know he's a traitor. Even though he never played for us, he's a traitor. I don't even think. Nah, I do think he's better than Jackson, but I feel like Chelsea fans are hard on Jackson. I think he is annoying. He be offside. His facial.
I don't really care about his offside or his red card. I don't care about any of them. My big problem with Jackson is his ball striking. And I don't know. I haven't seen evidence of a player that's improved on that aspect of the game, at this age. Like he's 23, 24, I think. I feel like ball striking is something that is so fundamental to a striker that you got to have it. You either have it or you don't by this age.
Yeah. I think that could be improved. He's still young, 23.
Yeah, but I mean, anyway. But the thing is, we do know we're getting a number 9. It's not that we're not gonna get into another season. We already gave him 2 seasons with no competition in the squad. Absolutely zero competition.
You see that right there? I would love to take an angry Jackson off you guys. Like a Jackson who's like, all right, Chelsea, fuck you, Chelsea. Like, you see what they did to you over there? Well, you got them qualified for Champions League and they just dismissed you. And even when they fell off in the season and almost didn't qualify, they didn't acknowledge it was because you weren't on the pitch. Like, you know what? Come on. Like, we'll show you the love.
Hey, we did. No, he's Jackson's gonna be, like that perfect spot player if we get a proper number 9 in. So
he's what?
I'm looking forward to that. But he's gonna be a good squad option if we actually get a proper number 9 in.
Jackson, you hear what they're trying to do to you, fam? They trying to make you a squad option. Bro, they trying to make you a squad option.
Well, he's going to be a better squad option than Rasmus Haaland for you guys, for sure. For sure.
I mean, Rasmus Haaland right now would probably be relieved just to be a squad option. They're like, please take me off this firing line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is probably the last pod. So let's just act like it. Is there anything you guys want to say or close out with?
Just thank you to yourself for running it, and to everyone that's listened over the amount of years. It's been, I started off just guesting on it anytime I was in LA, and then pandemic happened, and it's been a weekly part of my life ever since. We went on to Zoom. I've tried to make as many as I can, and I've enjoyed it. Like I say, it's been part of my routine, and I've enjoyed chatting with yourself and everyone else that's been involved, and people getting involved in the fantasy league and stuff. It's been fun. I hope there's something else we can do, but if this is it, then it's I've enjoyed it. The banter with Martin, and just having an outlet for my disdain for Tottenham.
Hilarious.
Has been a big thing, but mostly just being able to just chat football with people. I love doing that, and it's a shame, but it is what it is.
That's huge coming from somebody from England that you could talk football with. Like, you have lots of options of talking football with, so that's huge. Neil or Alex, go next.
I'm gonna say that this is what happens when tariffs, man. People don't think tariffs are real, but now the podcast. I heard like the tariffs are affected. The tariffs, man. So it was a great run. Can we save the podcast? Maybe like if the audience donates money to something like Save the EM podcast or something, donate money or something like that.
My thing is, how do we get people to watch the podcast? Maybe we do need better thumbnails. Maybe how do we get out of the how do we get out of the algorithm we're in? How do we get into the algorithm? We're in the basement of YouTube. Like, looking
you gotta
at people walk by, watching foot traffic.
We have a World Cup coming in. Like, it's every person is gonna be like.
We had World Cups before.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we had World Cups.
All right,
we've been around.
Shut it down. It's time to shut it down then.
Even though this one is here, so you might have a point. This one is here. What you got? What you got, Neil? Hope you could beat Alex's tariff. Should be easy.
No, I think it's almost. I mean, I hate it, but it's almost poetic that this is ending. It's ending with the Tottenham Trophy win.
Oh shit!
The amount of shit we've given Martin.
That's reason enough to shut it down.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad that Tottenham won a trophy, and we don't have to hear about it from Martin. Like that's it's sad that the podcast is ending, but it's almost worth it for not having to hear to.
Are you saying I should dismantle the chat?
Well, no, Martin's taken care of that by just continuing to be Martin. Like, he hasn't changed one bit.
I know.
with all the fake transfer stories. Anyway, but
hilarious, yeah.
it's been a real pleasure, Ian, and thanks for having me on all these years. And I still remember podcasting in your in where you're sitting right now, pretty much very close to it, on your audio recorder before we switched to video.
Yeah.
Yeah, some fun times, and I think all our clubs have been through so many journeys through the years. And it's been great to chat with all of you guys, Lee, Alex. I think the banter is going to continue in the chat. Hopefully, we can do this in some format, like a lot of folks were commenting, saying. But I guess we need more ideas how to get out of the basement.
YouTube basement, bro.
Yeah, that's just the thumbnail. Just put like some girl on the thumbnail, and then people are watching. What is this?
I know. This is what she said about Tottenham.
You might have to take a microphone down to Venice Beach, Ian.
I know, right?
Those seem to be the only videos out of LA that work.
I know. I might have to go outside of LAFC stadium or something and talk to people about Man United after LAFC game. Who knows?
Yeah.
They're like, what? That's not what just happened here.
Hey, San Diego just beat LA, so finally have another team from the MLS here.
Yeah, some of these expansion teams be getting it right immediately. They're not taking that 5 to 10 year thing to like start. Like, what's your record now?
I think we are second in the Western Conference.
It's crazy. Brand new team.
And the fans are behaving like proper football hooligans. So they're really good.
It's hilarious.
It was there was a video of a fan falling, right? Like he was rolling down the stairs. That was in the San Diego game, right?
That was San Diego.
I don't know if you saw that again, but there was like this guy got punched on, like he just like rolled. Like it's like a little big guy, and he did like 2 spins on the stairs, and he just like
San Diego
I don't know.
fan?
I laughed. I think he was an LA fan.
And he got punched down the stairs in San Diego?
He got punched on the stairs, and I thought he was gonna fall from the 2nd floor, but he like the wall holding.
Oh,
but,
damn.
Yeah.
So we got hooligans already? All right, football. As for me, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. Just for anybody who listened at any time, and especially like the mass participation in the fantasy league was pretty impressive. And congrats to all the winners and the contenders over the years and that. And then, just my personal thanks to you guys like Lee, man, for showing up as much as you did, and Neil for showing up as much as you did, and Alex just coming through lately, and especially the time when Man City went down, for being there so that we could, like, when Martin ain't here, we could we could Spurs you. You know what I mean? Like when we started this podcast, Man City was in its ascension, and now we don't know where the hell they're gonna go. We don't even know how the court case ended. Like, why is that a secret? Like, what's up with that? And then I just remember doing this podcast. It started out with some phone conversations. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Jason Gillern and Francisco Ramos. And then I was doing it for myself for a while, like recording it. And I wasn't confident, like, in talking in long bursts. So then I'd have to edit out the uhs and the uhs, and that was like a pain in the ass. and then post it to make it seem like, and then I think Neil hit me up once, and I come through, so he'd drive from San Diego, sit on the couch, and then Lee hit me up when he was in town, so then he sit on the couch right there, we do the audio, and then everybody was doing video, so then we said, all right, let's try video, and then we used to go into all things comedy. I think that's when the numbers were best, like in the actual studio. But then Neil used to drive all the way down, and then Lee would do it when he was in town, and that's not if anybody knows California, a drive from San Diego to LA to do a podcast after work at rush hour time LA. That's some heroic shit right there. Even though you got to do some comedy after, that's a pain in the ass. So we deserve 2,000 more followers an episode just because of that. You know,
I'm just thinking as well. Like
I've driven on the HOV lane to get to you, Ian.
So what?
I've driven on the HOV lane just to get to you.
Oh, that's hilarious by yourself.
Just by myself.
I believe it. Yeah, that's hilarious.
So I remember like dialing into this podcast from like my car at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Oh shit! Yeah,
from various hotel rooms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from different countries
and stuff like that.
Shows or game. Yeah,
there was that one when I was walking through London as well. I just got back off the Eurostar from a PSG game, and was walking down the street with homeless people yelling at me while I was trying to talk. But I mean, stuff like that, like the time when
please. Oh, go ahead, Lee. Sorry.
When like me, you, Neil, and Martin, like got to do it in person with all four of us there, and then went out and got food afterwards and stuff. That. That's the memories as well.
Yeah. Where did we eat at?
You went to like a Vietnamese place, I think it was, that I was too fussy to eat at, so I went to the burger stand around the corner and then came and joined you.
I think we went to Tehran. Yeah, yeah, it might have been Tehran. Thai spot.
Parking was a bitch.
So what?
Parking was a bitch. I remember.
Yeah. Near my neighborhood parking. That's another thing. Even when you come to the houses, parking was a bitch.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Alex?
Just a favor. Can you please keep following me on Instagram? Like my friends think it's really cool that. Oh man.
Nah, bro, it's over, bro.
My friend thinks it's really cool that it's like, dude.
Can somebody cut him out the chat right now?
I just get on shows because they're like, it's like that guy knows Ian Edwards. I'm like, oh.
Too bad the rest of the football world didn't feel that way. It's hilarious. No, but we had some. It's always like you always need like a place to like let off some football steam. Whether, because I remember, like randomly, just after some good results in midweek, like I would just call Lee on Instagrams, whatchamacallit, to like yell in his ear that we just won something. Because there was nobody to talk to. Like we just won a match last minute, in Ollie times, you know what I'm saying? So it's just good to like, your team does something, you can at least go in the chat or, the podcast is coming up, because you need therapy whether you win or lose. You have to let off the steam of that excitement. If you win and you need to talk if they fucking lost and disappointed you. So, yeah, and I'm sure that did that for people too who watched or listened, because I remember before doing the podcast, or you thinking about doing the podcast, when the Premier League was shown here, that damn, I was like, I wish there was somewhere way to hear more after the game. And this is before, like, even TalkSport or any of those places were putting their episodes on YouTube, or before there were any. Because there was a show like on Monday night that would come, I forgot what sports radio, maybe ESPN, that they used to talk about the Premier League for like half an hour. And then when it would end, I'd be like, damn, I wanted more. So yeah, hopefully that this provided some of that for people. And there was some, thanks to All Things Comedy, Elvis, who did the shirts, just anybody that helped, or came through as a guest.
Is that on the volley?
On the volley apparel, yeah. And the twins that did the Juventus documentary, Mauro and Marco. Those are dope guests. That was a dope ass Juventus doc, and just other people like that, and Stephen Howson, and he'd come through every year. So, and there's more. I remember one time me and Martin were in a coffee shop, and we saw Mario Malkia. And I was like, he's just sitting it's a solar cafe, like up the street. And we looked at him, and Mario Malkia, what are you doing here? This is when we was just doing it audio, right? And he's like, what are you doing here? And he was surprised anybody recognized him. And we started talking to him, and he agreed to do the podcast. And then this is when it was on just Zoom, like when you came. My friend had a house in the hills, and I gave him that address, and he came up, and we interviewed him there. You know, for this, like that's an old episode. It's just audio, and he would come to shows too. So afterwards too. So and we spoke a little bit at lunch a few times, but that's some of the crazy, you know, things that could happen when you just have a podcast. You know, shit happens. Shit leads to shit. So I'm gonna miss the things you can't calculate happening just from having a podcast for sure, and just everybody. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll all talk about it in the chat, see what we can come up with. But yeah,
that's like, you know, NBA on TNT ended this week, but they're gonna find something else, another avenue. So maybe we can do the same.
All right, but did end though?
Yeah, it's done because it's going to ESPN, I think, or something, or it's changing. I know that they're not keeping it.
Oh, they lost. Well, good luck ESPN, because that shit that's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't know that. At one point, towards the end of like watching basketball, that show was the only reason why I was still watching basketball. I was like, this is better than the games. Yeah, that's legendary. Yeah.
Martin's our Charles Barkley.
Shit. Yeah, thanks for Martin too.
And sometimes intentionally funny.
Any guest that we didn't get to mention. But all right, that's it, guys. Fuck. All the sentimental shit. It's over. See y'all next season. Somehow, some way. And I gotta get off so I can unfollow Alex. But thank you everybody for listening and watching, whoever did. Thanks for your encouragement. And anybody left a comment or likes, the likes was important. We appreciate you. And be good. Love yourselves. One.